For the past 8 weeks, international headlines have been dominated by the geopolitical and humanitarian crisis taking place in the Middle East. But did you know that not too far away from home here in Trinidad and Tobago, there's another geopolitical crisis that is brewing and that might well blow up in our faces in a matter of weeks? I am talking about what has been brewing between Guyana and Venezuela. So let's get into it. Here we have a map of Guyana as we know it. The red lines indicative of the international borders that Guyana shares with their neighbors. These borders, as set out by the British, who commissioned a German cartographer in the mid-1800s to determine what would have been then British Guyana, caused serious objection with the then Venezuelan government, who felt that the British had in fact encroached on the Essequibo area, which Venezuela claimed as its own. From the 1800s till now, there have been many attempts to resolve this border dispute between Venezuela and Guyana to no avail. And things are really heating up, especially since in this disputed region and the international borders in the sea, Guyana has discovered its oil and gas reserves. With the discovery of these natural resources in the disputed region and the influx of multinational companies to exploit the oil and gas in Guyana, we have now seen renewed calls and objections from the Maduro government over the disputed Essequibo region. As a result, Venezuela has decided to have a public referendum on December 3rd, where they will ask the people of Venezuela whether or not they should seek to annex the Essequibo region from Guyana. If this referendum proves to be successful to the Venezuelan government and they do decide to annex the Essequibo region, this is what Guyana might end up looking like. That red area represents the Essequibo region and 60% of what exists as Guyana today. As I said, if Venezuela decides to annex this region through its military might after December 3rd, this is what could possibly happen to Guyana. This geopolitical crisis has been heating up for a while now, with the Guyanese government going to the international court in order to have a final arbiter stop Venezuela from seeking to annex the land. Recently, I saw reports where the Venezuelan Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, totally ignored Guyana's moves towards the ICC and saying that the land belongs to them, and after the referendum, once it is successful, that they will seek to annex the land. There's also reports that airstrips and landing strips are being built on the Venezuelan side of the border in order to prepare for the logistics of having to take over or reclaim in their minds that Essequibo region. This is something, in my opinion, as citizens of CARICOM, watching something that might affect the economics of our CARICOM neighbors, we need to pay attention to very, very closely and stand in support of our Guyanese brothers and sisters. Because what you all need to understand is that the military might of Venezuela far outstrips what Guyana is capable of. So according to this website, globalfirepower.com, which does annual reports ranking the military strength of various countries around the world, for 2023, Venezuela ranks number 53 out of a total of 145 countries. According to the CIA fact book, Venezuela's human personnel or military strength is anywhere between 250,000 to 300,000 persons. Guyana's, according to the CIA fact book, 3,000 to 5,000 persons. So what we're looking at here is a David versus Goliath situation should Venezuela decide that they are going to reclaim and annex the Essequibo region. So now that we have some understanding of the gravity of what faces Guyana, what are we as CARICOM citizens going to do? And not just in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm speaking all over the region. Because what affects one affects us all.